in America, we are so used to these over-the-counter drugs or, something that's been prescribed to us that gives us that like immediate feeling of relief. CBD is an adaptogen. So it's not going to give you like that masking of symptoms. It's going to get to that root cause of your issue, depending on where you're out of balance. And it's going to work over time to really bring you back to homeostasis.
Hello. Welcome to the Digest This podcast. I'm your host, Bethany Cameron, and today I am so excited to share about CBD. And I think we all are familiar with CBD, but I bet you didn't know that CBD is actually a natural antibiotic. And we all know the detrimental effects that antibiotics can do to our bodies. So in today's episode, I speak with Emily, who is from CB Distillery, and we talk all about how CBD has actually been shown as a natural antibiotic without any of the side effects. We also discuss the differences between full spectrum and broad spectrum CBD, what that even means, if CBD shows up on drug tests, if children and pregnant and nursing women can take CBD, how many brands do offer third-party testing but are not current with them. So it's kind of deceiving to me and to everyone really, because they can do all the third-party testing they want, but the tests are not connected to the actual product that you have in your home and that particular batch. I mean, we go deep into all the benefits CBD offers, including anxiety, digestion, sleep, reducing inflammation, migraines, nerve pain, and so much more. CBD can also even be given to your pets. So even if you feel like you know the ins and outs of CBD, I can almost guarantee you'll learn something new in this episode. Plus, Emily shares a special code for my listeners at the very end where you can get 25% off site-wide from all their products. So grab some tea or go on a walk or drive and enjoy this conversation I had with Emily Loss from CB Distillery. All right, Emily. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know we have so much to talk about just CBD in general. But before we even get into that, I like to start my podcast off with some rapid fire yes or no questions. So you can only answer yes or no to the next few questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Question number 1. Can CBD make you high?
No.
Is CBD addictive?
No.
Does CBD show up on drug tests?
Yes, it can.
Can children benefit from taking CBD?
That one, I actually can't say yes or no. It's a little more nuanced, just because we really like to encourage families to leave that up to parents' discretion and, talking to their pediatrician. So we really can't make full-on recommendations around that as a company.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into that a little bit later then, because I'm curious.
Yes.
Because I've personally seen some really cool things from children. All right. Now, last question. Is all CBD created equal?
No.
It's been 4 years since the pandemic hit, and I will tell you, I have noticed that I've aged a lot more rapidly since then due to just the stress of everything. I really started to notice it in 2021 after I moved 3 times within 12 months. And now with the aging effects that the stress of my 4th move in the past 4 years can do, I've started dabbing into anti-aging skincare products. But not only have I been looking for products that combat fine lines and wrinkles, but ones that are also non-toxic. I honestly wish I started focusing on this more in my 20s, but now in my mid-30s, I know it's never too late to take charge. I once even looked into Botox, but as I did more research years back on what the harmful effects on what fillers and Botox can actually do to your body and the severe risk factors involved, I happily passed on those options. So again, I was looking for an alternative that was all natural. That's when I found Purity Woods. Purity Woods products leverage the wonders of a revolutionary ingredient, which is maple leaf extract. Maple leaves contain anti-inflammatory antioxidants and hydrating properties, which can help soothe irritated or inflamed skin, all while plumping, brightening, and nourishing it. And I hate to say it, but I still get breakouts every time I'm about to start my cycle. So anti-aging products that can also help with that is super important to me. With 25 unique and potent ingredients to help keep your skin bright, plump, and firm, I am a very happy customer. I've definitely tried my fair share of natural skincare products, but the thing that stood out to me the very first time I put on Purity Woods Age-Defining Dream Cream was that it wasn't heavy at all, nor was it oily or have any irritating scent. And the icing on the cake is that this product is certified USDA organic. So if you want to turn back time on the appearance of your skin with Purity Woods Age-Defying Dream Cream, they are currently offering 17% off site-wide. Plus, I also have an additional 10% discount for my listeners. That's a total of 27% savings. Just go to puritywoods.com/digest or simply enter the code DIGEST at checkout for an additional 10% off your first order. That's puritywoods.com and enter code DIGEST for a total of 27% off your first order. So I recently did a Candida cleanse on my Instagram, and if you follow me there, then you probably remember that. And one of the things I made sure I took every night was magnesium. Now, I often take magnesium on a regular basis anyways, but I admit that sometimes and some weeks I am not consistent. However, it came to my attention that magnesium is actually required to eliminate Candida albicans. And without it, your body cannot actually break that yeast down and allow your body to eliminate it. Once I learned that from a study I read in the NIH, I will now never go a night without my magnesium pills. And the brand I take is from Bioptimizers, which is their magnesium breakthrough. My husband and I have actually been taking it for quite a while, so it's already in our cupboard. But again, now that I know the importance magnesium has in eliminating Candida albicans from the body, I never want to stop it. Not only is magnesium required to eliminate yeast from the body, but magnesium is required for over 600 different biochemical reactions in the body, including to help reduce PMS cramps and related symptoms, migraines, muscle aches, anxiety, insomnia, and even constipation. The reason I chose Magnesium Breakthrough over the other brands is that it contains all 7 forms of the different types of magnesium, whereas other brands only provide 2 to 3 types. So you're not getting the full spectrum benefits. Another thing I really appreciate about Magnesium Breakthrough is that they don't add any fillers, flavors, silicone dioxide, or gums, which are commonly added to supplements and powders these days. It is also soy-free, gluten-free, vegan, and the best part is Bioptimizers has a 365-day money-back guarantee. That's an entire year. You can try this product, and if you're not satisfied, you'll get your money back. So if you want to get the full spectrum benefits of magnesium, go to bioptimizers.com/digest and use code DIGEST at checkout to save 10%. In addition to the discount you get by using my code, you can get up to 2 travel size bottles of Magnesium Breakthrough for free. So again, just go to bioptimizers.com/digest and use code DIGEST. That's bioptimizers.com/digest and use code DIGEST. Okay, so now that we've piqued our listeners' interest here, why don't you first go ahead and introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what you do?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am Emily. I work at CB Distillery. I have worked with this company for the last 6 years. So a little bit more background on me. So I work on the marketing team at CB Distillery, but I am also a certified health coach through Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So that's really, health coaching is really a deep passion of mine. So I've worked in marketing for almost a decade. And when the opportunity to work for this CBD company came across my radar, I was just absolutely thrilled to be able to mesh my love of using words and creativity and design to reach people and storytelling and all of those things with my passion for health coaching. So something that I believe deeply in is our body's innate ability to heal itself. And that is something that really is at the core of our ethos at CB Distillery as well. So it just was a no-brainer when this opportunity came across my plate to assist and work on the marketing team at this company. And it's, as everyone can imagine, it's changed so much even over just the last 6 years that I've worked here. Really, when I first started working here, it was during like the CBD boom when it was just blowing up. It was all the craze. Everybody was starting to learn about it and to ask questions, but there was still a ton of stigma, and there still is a ton of stigma, unfortunately. But really, that was kind of the forefront of this entire like CBD boom. It happened around, I'd say it happened around like 2017 when it
Yeah.
really started
I
blowing up.
remember that.
It was
It was
crazy,
huge.
crazy.
So I have like just some follow-up questions here too, but I
Yeah.
do remember that. And just for my listeners, when I was healing and I had just, I was literally on my deathbed,
Mm.
my holistic doctor, CBD was actually one of the things that he encouraged me to take because of the pain and inflammation and all of the things. And we were trying to really go the all holistic route, right?
Mm-hmm.
With no medication. And so that was actually when I was first introduced to CBD because I had like never heard of it. And I thought, oh my gosh, like he's telling me to take marijuana, like all
Yep.
the things, right? And so anyway, so that was kind of my introduction when I think this was like, when was I like super sick? I think it was like 2015. And so, yeah, so that was just a little like tip, and it definitely did help for sure. And we can kind of get into all the
Yeah, we'll
benefits.
get into the science and all of that because I love
Yeah.
nerding out on that.
But you joined the brand when CBD was like just starting to hit its peak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a question for you, and I can only speak on what I'm seeing, but I feel like
Sure.
CBD has kind of like plateaued, and people are like, oh yeah, CBD. Like I go into Sprouts and like it's on the shelf,
Yep.
like that's
Yep.
how quote
Mm-hmm.
regular it is.
Yeah, and we have seen the same thing as a brand. And so to back it up a little bit, so CB Distillery was started in 2015 by Andy Papillion. He's our expert botanist, and I still work closely with him to this day. He was making CBD tinctures for his friends and family, and there was such an overwhelming, like, positive response from them that he decided this is something that I need to invest my full time in. Like, I can't ignore these benefits that people are seeing from this natural plant derived oil, and I need to bring this to the world. So, like around the time when CBD was starting to boom, there was a lot of price gouging going on because people didn't know like how much they should be paying for it. They didn't know what types of questions they should be asking around like quality and sourcing and all of that. So it really was like the Wild West. And Andy took it um, in a different direction where he just wanted to give everybody access to the highest quality CBD at the most fair price. His like pillar of this company is to bring CBD to the world and help people, empower them to heal and to start to ask questions about how this extract can benefit them. And so all of that being said, back to your question about kind of seeing CBD plummet, um, unfortunately, there is like 100,000 different supplements, dietary supplements on the shelves nowadays. And something that I would love for people to remember is that hemp is not a fad or a trend. It's been around for thousands of years. It's not something that just boomed in 2015, 2016, and now we should just ignore it. I think that the reason that it has plateaued a little bit and people have maybe kind of forgotten is because they don't have proper education. They don't have proper education around what it is, how it works with your body, which we can get into, and what they should be looking for. There's so many little CBD brands that popped up that have given CBD a bad name because they don't have the
It's
amount
like not
of
pure.
that they say. It's not pure. They don't do the testing. They don't have the quality U.S. grown hemp that we have. They don't do the third party testing. So long-winded response, but that's what we've also been seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. So for those, I'm sure a lot of people listening already know what CBD is. They're familiar with it, but I really want to kind of get further. So even if you're listening and you're like, yeah, I know what CBD is. I'm pretty sure like I know the benefits and like the difference even, but even so, I think that let's get even further into it because along with the well-known, like a lot of people know CBD for anxiety. They know it for pain, inflammation, but there are so many other benefits beyond anxiety, pain, inflammation, which is great. But I mean, obviously sleep is definitely one of them. Digestion is huge. Even epilepsy, migraines, nerve pain, autoimmune diseases. So can we kind of dive into why there are so many different benefits, right? Because it almost seems like too good to be true. Like the one thing helps with everything.
Yes. I love that you just said that because I had that written in my notes to actually bring up because so like a big misconception about CBD and something that we hear, some of the negative noise that we hear about it is, oh, this is snake oil. How can it help with all of these things? And I understand from, people just learning about this thing and then all of these different companies are marketing that it can do all of these miraculous things. Well, marketing is, it's an interesting way to learn and listen because there's a lot of bias. But I will just get into the science of why it can help with all of those things. So CBD stands for cannabidiol. CBD is one of 113 naturally occurring compounds in the hemp plant. So we are literally built for CBD as humans. We all have endocannabinoid systems. This is something that not a lot of people know about. The endocannabinoid system was actually discovered in like 1988. So many doctors actually haven't even been taught about this system, and it's the largest receptor system in our body and the largest regulator of homeostasis. So we have this endocannabinoid system. As humans, we actually produce endocannabinoids ourselves. We have receptors in our bodies, CB1 receptors, which are found in your brain, and CB2 receptors, which are found more in your blood cells and your immune system. So they need these endocannabinoids that we produce. CBD is a phytocannabinoid produced by hemp. So really, this ECS network controls and has its hands in so many different bodily functions, such as mood, sleep, digestion, appetite, memory, pain, nausea, motor control. It's these endocannabinoids act as messengers and neurotransmitters, and they're broken down very quickly by enzymes in our body. So if they're being broken down too quickly, or your body isn't making enough of them, when we supplement with CBD, a phytocannabinoid, this allows this endocannabinoid system to kind of stay like a well-oiled machine, I guess I would say, and allows us to maintain that homeostasis. So it depends on what the person is dealing with. So if somebody has horrible anxiety or sleep issues, or they're dealing with digestion or autoimmune or things like that, when you supplement with these phytocannabinoids, CBD, your body then has what it needs to go and fix these areas that are out of balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Now, for someone that has been trying other herbs, right? Not CBD, just like, I'm just saying like herbs to help them sleep or anti-inflammatory. I'm seeing a lot of CBD companies and just items mixing their CBD with other herbs. Obviously, people are taking them, right? But is that a good idea? Or should you be taking CBD like solely just from the plant? You know what I mean? Like, should you be mixing it?
I don't think that there's any harm in mixing it if it's with something that, with an herb that's well established and you really know the benefits, like something like ashwagandha,
Like I've seen it with
or
lemon balm or passion
lemon balm,
flower and like all that kind of
valerian
stuff.
root.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. We really have a more of a purist approach at our company. And we don't have any blends with other herbs at this time. That's something that we might get into. As I said, Andy, our founder, is an expert botanist, so we definitely are not closed off to that idea. But really, we just believe so deeply in the power of the hemp plant, and I would recommend for everybody to just start there. Like, get back to the basics. Start with a CBD blend. Like, if we're talking about sleep, a CBD CBN blend. CBN is a minor cannabinoid in the hemp plant that helps with sleep. So I would say start there and see how you feel, because with with consistent use, what I love about CBD is that it really, if we're talking about sleep, works with your circadian rhythm and allows you to reach that REM sleep, which is so important for deep repair and all of the wonderful things that happen while we sleep that allow us to be healthy. So I would say start there. And something that I also really love about just taking that purist CBD approach, there just aren't any side effects. And I can't say the same for every single herb, because I haven't, tried every single different blend, but I can speak for our products in saying that if you are using this for sleep, you really wake up just refreshed and energized, and none of that like hungover, groggy type feeling that can happen when you mix too many things. It's our systems are sensitive and delicate, and so that would be my recommendation, to start there. And if you need further support, like, that is definitely your personal journey, and add in other herbs as needed and do your research and see what works for your body.
Yeah, for sure. Now, and I think speaking on side effects, I think a huge concern for a lot of people is, oh my gosh, am I going to become addicted to this? Right? And so can you explain maybe the difference between CBD, THC, and why CBD isn't addictive? Because I will say personally, I am definitely not addicted, and I've been taking it since like 2015, and I've had my periods of time where I just haven't taken CBD for a while, and I've never had like the urge of like, I need my CBD, like it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's something that you take, and then when you don't take it, you kind of maybe start to, if you take a break, and I do advise, like, if you want to take a break and come back to it. CBD is an adaptogen. So, taking breaks is totally fine. And I always personally notice when I take a break for a while, I'm like, something's missing. It's not like oh, I need this and an addiction, a dependency, but something's missing. I feel a little off balance.
Like you do feel better when taking it, though.
Feel better. Yeah. It just supports you. And so I think, I'm really happy that you asked this, because huge misconception and something that we try to educate on and have since day one. Like, we're one of the OGs in the space, and education matters so much to us. So the difference between CBD and THC, let's start there. So CBD comes from the hemp plant. THC comes from the marijuana plant. Both of those fall under the cannabis umbrella. So that's where the confusion happens for a lot of people, because hemp and marijuana plants are both considered cannabis. However, they're very chemically different. Their chemical makeups are way different. So the hemp plant has very high concentrations of CBD and very low concentrations of THC. CBD is non-psychoactive. THC is psychoactive, and that is the element that's going to give you that high feeling. The marijuana plant, on the other hand, very high concentrations of THC, very low concentrations of CBD. So really, they're completely different plants, and we utilize the hemp plant because of its high volume of CBD, which has all of these different. The hemp plant's made up of CBD, which is a major cannabinoid, and then tons of other different minor cannabinoids. And all of those cannabinoids have incredible health and wellness benefits, as we've been talking about, that you can leverage and not have that high feeling. So no worries for dependency or addiction or anything like that. I mean, we have so many different testimonials and just moving, life-changing stories that come from our customers, and some of those are even around how, like, CBD has helped them navigate a journey with addiction to something else and has helped them ease back into the world. So yeah, you never have to worry about addiction, dependency, anything like that, because there just aren't the psychoactive elements. It's really just a health and wellness molecule.
You guys know we recently moved, and for our new place, I got brand new cookware and bakeware to help keep my new kitchen as non-toxic as possible. But the thing I absolutely hate about non-toxic cookware is that they are so dang heavy. I've heard great things about our place, non-toxic cookware and bakeware. So I got some, and to my surprise, they were super light, which is a huge plus for me. They look so chic in my kitchen with matching colors. And of course, the best part is that they are non-toxic, sustainable, and PFAS free. Our place is female founded and is truly worth the hype. They are changing the way we cook in a healthy, non-toxic way, all while keeping your kitchen stylish with trendy colors and designs that will fit into any kitchen decor. They're so cute, you'll want to leave them out on your stovetop and serve straight from the pan. Our place offers a variety of cookware like skillet, pots, pans, and even bakeware, which many don't even realize that their bakeware is also full of chemicals leaching into your baked goods. All their products are made without PFAS and are completely Teflon free. They even have a chic non-toxic blender. So if you're always making smoothies, sauces, or even homemade baby food, this is a great, healthy, and safe blender to have. I know a lot of you are making an effort to buy grass-fed meat, organic produce, and baking ingredients as best you can, and I love that. But if you're cooking with toxic materials, chemicals are being leached back into the quality food you just bought. So even if you make the effort to get just one Our Place item, You can use that over and over again and slowly make the switch to a fully chemical-free kitchen over time. So invest in just one piece you'll use the most to prepare your food and watch the change. Once you check out all Our Place has to offer, you'll be obsessed just as much as I am. These are the perfect gift for weddings, baby showers, birthdays, and of course, yourself. And if you want to save some money, you know I got you. Just go to FromOurPlace.com and enter my code DIGEST at checkout to receive 10% off site-wide. That's FromOurPlace.com and use code DIGEST. That's FromOurPlace.com and use code DIGEST. And Our Place offers a 100-day trial with free shipping and returns. So you really have nothing to lose. I hope you guys enjoy them. I actually get asked quite a lot on my Instagram about what omega-3 oil I take and if there are any, quote, vegan fish oil supplements out there. Well, I actually don't take any fish oils, and I haven't for a very long time. Once I found out, it's dirty little secret. Literally, I'm not sure if you know this, but omega-3 fish oil supplements often go rancid, resulting in supplements that don't improve your health and can often have a negative effect since you could potentially be consuming rancid oils. So instead of fish oil, try C15 from the company Fatty 15. The fatty acid known as C15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years. And the best part, it is 100% vegan. Fatty 15 is delivering the world's first pure science-backed C15 supplement and has 3 times the healthy aging cell benefits of omega-3 or fish oil. That's crazy, you guys. This special fatty acid is derived from plants using a patented oxidation-resistant technology resulting in a pure form of C15. It's vegan and contains no flavors, fillers, allergens, or preservatives. C15 is the only ingredient in Fatty 15, which I absolutely love that this company just doesn't add anything else. It's 100% pure. Fatty 15 is also proven to resist oxidation factors both in and outside of the body and works in multiple ways. It repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown, plus boosts mitochondria energy output, and it activates pathways in the body that help regulate our sleep, mood, and natural repair mechanisms for healthier aging overall. This functionality leads to a myriad of exciting benefits now and as we age, namely improved metabolic, liver, and heart health, smoother functioning joints, deeper sleep, and healthier hair, skin, and nails. It comes in a sleek, reusable glass and bamboo jar, and refill capsules are shipped to your door quarterly in recycled material pouches. That's just 4 shipments a year. So whether you're vegan, don't like the taste of fish oil, or don't want to ingest rancid oils that are commonly the case with fish oil supplements, try Fatty 15 to help support and restore your long-term health. And who would I be without offering a discount to the Digest This community? So Fatty 15 has graciously given me the ability to offer you 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit. Just go to fatty15.com/digest and use code DIGEST, and you can cancel anytime, so you're not committed. Again, that's FATTY, the number 15.com/digest, or use code DIGEST at checkout. Yeah. Well, what about tolerance? Because I can also speak for myself, is that when I first started taking CBD, like the smallest bit, I would have I could feel an effect. But now I feel like I can definitely take more of like a higher milligram. And I'm like, I don't want to say immune to it. Immune's not the right word, but I have like a higher tolerance for it. Has that ever happened?
Definitely. And so something that I want to preface too, like in America, we are so used to these over-the-counter um, drugs or, something that's been prescribed to us by a medical professional that gives us that like immediate feeling of relief. Like we feel it. It takes away the pain, whatever you're trying to remedy. CBD is an adaptogen. So it's not going to give you like that masking of symptoms. It's going to get to that root cause of your issue, depending on where you're out of balance, like we talked about earlier with the endocannabinoid system. And it's going to work over time to really bring you back to homeostasis. So that might be something that you feel a little bit more of in the very beginning when you're really starting your CBD journey. Things are fluctuating inside. You're changing, you're getting back to balance, you're starting to feel better. And then maybe you start to build like a quote unquote tolerance, but really maybe you're getting to your more like maintenance stage where you're just maintaining those endocannabinoid or phytocannabinoids in your system and maintaining homeostasis. And so what I always like to tell people is you really shouldn't be looking to like feel anything. You should just feel like yourself. And CBD really, it helps to get you back to that baseline level. So a lot of people think like, oh, I've reached a tolerance, like I need more. And really you're just back at baseline and you're good and your body's functioning in the way that it should be. So you might not be feeling as many fluctuations or anything like that. So, and as I said earlier, if you feel like you want to take a little bit of a break from CBD, there's no harm in that either. You can take a break and come back. You can try different minor cannabinoids and we have tons of different blends that we've created for different benefits, different concerns, and you can see how you feel with those. But really, like, the main point is that you shouldn't be feeling anything when taking CBD.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think it's like to that point is like when I always share on Instagram about, let's just say, for example, people with gut issues, like so many people have digestive issues and that is like the normal, right? Like they just think that's how I'm supposed to feel. That's like, this is just, I feel like this all the time. And that's not how they're supposed to feel, but they don't know any different. And so I feel like that is the same with CBD is like people are feeling this way constantly. So they don't know what like quote normal feels like. And I think that CBD could definitely offer that normal feeling again, which
mentally and physically,
yeah.
And it's like that analogy. I don't know if you've heard of the analogy of the child who grew up with a tree outside of their window that they were insanely allergic to. And it was outside of their window since they were little. And so they thought, oh, this is just always how I'm supposed to feel, just with these allergies. And then you remove yourself from the situation and you realize, oh, that's not my normal. I can actually feel so much better. So that's something that we just are so passionate about with our product is like, you possibly, depending on like who you are, what you're dealing with, I can't make a blanket statement, but you can feel better. You can feel better than you feel right now. And you don't have to have these nasty side effects and you don't have to be shackled to this diagnosis. Like there are natural options and we just want to empower people to keep asking those questions and not just take anything that's prescribed to you. There's a reason that this plant's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. Well, and here's a question, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, is CBD safe for pregnant or nursing women?
That's a question we get all the time. So unfortunately, there is not enough research around this area yet. We're a really science-backed company and we really value science. Our founder is a scientist. So we can't necessarily just recommend that because there isn't unfortunately enough studies around it yet, and hopefully that's coming. But one thing that I will say is, pregnancy is such a sacred and personal time in a woman's life. And I just think that journey looks different for every single woman. Like you see women who cold plunge throughout their whole pregnancy, who lift weights, who, do what is best for them and their body. And like, there's nothing like a mother's intuition. So I would say just do what's best for you, movement wise, supplement wise. Of course, consult with your doctor if that feels good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there aren't enough studies, but always do what's best.
Yeah, that's an interesting take because I do think that again, it depends on your habits prior to getting pregnant because like for example like you were saying I've personally seen women, they were sprinters and they were runners and they are running at 9 months pregnant. There's no way I would be running miles if I was 9 months pregnant just because I'm not a
Me
runner.
neither. I know, but that's what their body loves it. That's what makes their body feel amazing and feel at baseline and feel good and healthy. So I'm all about bio individuality. There's no one size fits all for anyone. And I always hate seeing on social media, where people shame mothers for making certain decisions. It's just, we're all so unique. We're all having our own personal experience, and nobody knows what's best for you better than you.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about children? Let's go back to that because I know that it wasn't like a blanket yes or no answer regarding children taking CBD. I know a lot of people and they give their children CBD, obviously, for certain reasons, like if they have epilepsy, if they maybe have a cognitive issue, like maybe learning in school, or something is happening, autoimmune disease, and their children have benefited. Obviously, I think they give their children like gummies or chocolate or something that was not just like a straight up tincture. But can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah. So the tough thing with our industry, and this has been such a challenge for me, like working on our marketing team and trying to get our messages and our education out there, is that we're really limited in what we can and can't say from a legal perspective, which is just, it's really tough because a lot of times we rely on other people to tell their personal stories about how CBD has changed their life and really share around what it's done for them, because we can't always talk about our products in the way that we would love to. With children, it's a subject that, we've always steered clear of because we're not medical professionals. We're CBD experts. So that's something that we have definitely heard of people doing. We've gotten reviews around. It's not something to make recommendations of around from a legal perspective. And we all, like, same thing as the pregnancy question. It's your discretion. Nobody knows your child better than you. Nobody knows, what they're going through and how they handle things and how they're feeling better than the person who's parenting them every single day. So I would just say, I'd leave that up to parents and their intuition, and then their pediatrician if they want to open it up to them as well. But unfortunately, it's not something we can say a ton around.
Yeah. Well, what I would recommend is for those listening, do your own research. Do your own research and look at studies and other trials and look at what other people are saying of how CBD has benefited their children. If you are looking for an option, if you have a child that you think could benefit from it. So do your own research. And then that's when you make the decision to be like, okay, now what company, what brand am I going to give my child? Because I think that's really huge in the purity of the product and the transparency and the testing and what you're giving to your child. And we can get into that as well. Now, your products, you offer full spectrum and then also non-full spectrum, right?
Right.
So what does that mean? Like, what does full spectrum mean and what does not full spectrum mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this conversation is so great because these are all terms that are just so particular to CBD, and that nobody would really, I mean, maybe you've heard this term around like sunscreen or something like that, but it's it's really important to learn about, and it's really not that complicated. So I'll try and break it down. So full spectrum means that the oil that we extracted from the hemp plant has all of the cannabinoids present. It has omega-3 oils, it has terpenes, flavonoids, it has not only CBD, but it has CBG, CBN, CBC, CBDA, all of these other little minor cannabinoids present. And full spectrum has a trace amount of THC. So that's less than 0.3%. It's not enough to get you high, to feel any psychoactive effects. But having all of these cannabinoids and terpenes and teeny trace amount of THC present actually encourages the entourage effect. So the entourage effect is when all of these different components work together and they play off of each other, and they give you the most enhanced, full-on bioavailable CBD experience possible. So we really like a really good analogy that we like to use when teaching people about it is the band analogy. So when you go out to listen to live music, when there are like 5 different instruments all playing really well together, it just sounds beautiful. They're all playing off of each other. It makes a really full experience, and it sounds like a gorgeous symphony of sounds. That's kind of like what's happening when all of these cannabinoids are working together. And then when you start to take away one of those instruments, 2 of those instruments, 3, it starts to get a little, not as they don't really sound as beautiful because there isn't like that symphony of sound going on. So broad spectrum, so we have full spectrum, which is what I just described, and then we have broad spectrum. For those that are concerned with even that little trace amount of THC, they can try broad spectrum. It has CBD, all of those other minor cannabinoids, the terpenes, the flavonoids, all of that present, minus that trace amount of THC. And then the third option that we have is isolate. So isolate has none of those other minor cannabinoids, none of the trace amount of THC. It's just isolated CBD.
Got
So
it.
that's
Okay.
kind of the 3 main categories.
Yeah, and I think that's really important too. Like, and for a lot of people, I think they're into cooking that are listening as well, and like we're all foodies here, right? So when I was thinking of the analogy, I was like, okay, that's kind of like full spectrum is like a chocolate cake. Okay, do I
Yes.
have your attention now?
Yes.
And then like CBD is the chocolate. And then all the other components of the cake are like the CBN and like all the other like receptors, right? And so if you put everything together, full spectrum, you would bake a beautiful like cake that would rise in the oven. If you take all those away, but the chocolate is like the CBD, right? Like that's the main one. You still have chocolate, but you may not get a cake that rose.
Yes, I love that analogy. It's perfect. And the thing, full spectrum is the most popular for us because it just is the most efficacious. Like that entourage effect is happening in your body. It's a symphony of goodness. And so I would always recommend starting there if you don't have any concerns about those trace amounts of THC in the full spectrum. And from there, efficacy kind of can vary person to person. But in my experience, I would always recommend starting with full spectrum.
Okay. So full spectrum, it does have a little bit of THC. And I think that's what a lot of people, maybe they have, they're in a line of work where they get drug tested, right? They can't take the full spectrum. So let's talk about like the drug testing for a second. Would CBD isolate be a better option, or should they just like stay away from CBD completely then?
Yeah, unfortunately, like we can't legally guarantee that anyone will pass a drug test no matter what they're taking. Isolate would be a much safer option, but if you're really worried, I would definitely recommend just not using CBD for like 3 weeks or a month before, if you know you're getting drug tested, because unfortunately it does show up, and they can't tell on the test what it's coming from. You can't tell them, oh, I'm taking this wonderful wellness CBD tincture.
Well, I feel like, man, like with CBD being so common these days and like people understanding why you take it and not being alarmed, I feel like there should be I feel like the drug test should specify like, oh, it's just CBD versus like, ah, she's on drugs, like, you know?
I know, and I wish so much. I mean, luckily I work in marketing. I don't have to worry about getting drug tested, but it's so funny because, I take full spectrum CBD every single night, and I'm someone that is extremely sensitive to THC. I just the tiniest bit I feel high. And I don't like how I feel. So
Mhm.
that's not something that I engage in. Obviously, like, no judgment to anyone that does. We do have a few products that have higher milligrams of THC. Um, but like that would show up on a drug test for me. And I am not a THC user.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
tough.
Okay, so I want to talk about the different methods of CBD extractions for a second,
Mhm.
because there are some that we should definitely stay away from that are,
Yeah.
I believe, toxic to us. There's different types. So, what are the different CBD extractions and what should people, again, look for when they're choosing a product and what should they definitely stay away from? And then, obviously, I want to know, what extraction does CB Distillery use?
hmm So CB Distillery uses the two safest, purest methods of extraction. So for our full spectrum, we use a supercritical liquid CO2 extraction. So what that looks like, without getting too deep into the weeds, is that we pass carbon dioxide through a series of chambers that are filled with the hemp flowers. We adjust the pressure and the temperature to preserve the oil, and then we take only the beneficial components of the plant. So with this method, we're able to extract the CBD molecule from the hemp plant at a 90% efficacy rate. That's for full spectrum. For broad spectrum and isolate, we use ethanol extraction, which is also a very clean, pure, safe method of extraction. It's a little bit different because, as we just talked about, with broad spectrum, we then have to remove those trace amounts of THC. So it requires a little bit more. And then, same thing with isolate. We have to remove all of the other minor cannabinoids and the THC. As far as methods to stay away from, um, anything made with hydrocarbons outside of ethanol. So stay away from extraction methods such as like pentane, heptane, and especially hexane.
Yeah, I know hexane is a huge one, and a lot of companies use the hexane method, unfortunately.
And that's why like all CBD brands just aren't created equal. And that was one of your rapid fire questions in the beginning. I mean, these are the questions that people don't know to ask most of the time or to look for when doing their own research. So these are kind of the little things that you want to get in the weeds about, and you want to learn about a company before you take their product, because it all matters.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I do think that even the price reflects that, as far as, and people are like, well, it's CBD, like this one's cheaper. Why is this one so much more expensive? And there's those little details that people don't realize that go into it. And it's just kind of, pushed under the rug.
Yeah, and it's when you're talking about price, I mean, yeah, we get that all the time where it's like, oh, maybe our prices are a little bit higher than a CBD that you would find on the shelf at a store, or God forbid in a gas station or something like
I've
that.
seen CBD in a gas
Yeah,
station. It's
I know.
insane.
And it's not the same CBD. And that's why it's hard, because a lot of people they'll go towards that less expensive CBD first, try it, and they won't get the benefits. They won't get any benefits at all because it isn't what they're marketing it to be. There isn't the There isn't the amount of CBD in it that they're saying that there is. And there might be a lot of other yucky things in there. I mean,
I was just about to say a bunch of fillers. Yeah.
fillers, heavy metals, whatever that looks like. I mean, we were the company in the CBD space to pioneer third-party testing. So transparency is so important to us, and we put a QR code actually on every single product. So you can scan your QR code and you have access to your specific batch results. We have a certificate of analysis on every single page, every single product page, because we just really stand by having the highest quality and most pure CBD where people can just get the benefits of this amazing plant and not have to worry about any of the other crap.
I love that, Emily. Like the fact that you can not only, the fact that you guys test, but you have the barcode on each different product for that batch, because I think a lot of CBD companies say, yeah, we do testing, we do third-party testing, here are our results. Well, the test is not pertaining to the batch that you have in your home.
Right, right. And he always so our fulfillment facility is right here in Denver, and it has been since the beginning. And as a marketing team, I know all of the people who are so involved in our quality assurance and our testing. And if a batch comes and we're filling it and it tests over or under, we don't sell it. It's very important to us. We also have a CGMP certified facility. It's not, I think that a lot of people have that stigma too, where it's like, oh, they're filling these CBD bottles in their basement. It's a very professional, it's an operation with a lot of integrity.
Yeah. And I just love that, because traceability is so important, especially when you're working with something that's pertaining to your health, and you're taking it in good faith that it is going to help you and not harm you. So to know that there's no heavy metals, to know that it's pure and all the things, especially knowing it because it's pertaining to your batch. And I think, again, I just want to bring that up because it's so shady that so many companies at the grocery store just say, yeah, we do testing, but it was like for 5 batches ago. And now what are you getting?
I know. And unfortunately, there isn't a ton of regulation in the Dietary Supplement Agency. So it really does fall on the company to stand in integrity and to provide, their customers with that level of transparency. I mean, I guarantee you, if you try our CBD compared to one off the shelves, you will feel the difference in the purity immediately.
Yeah. And you guys offer, what do you guys offer? Because not you guys have tinctures, obviously. You have gummies. Don't you even have for pets too?
Oh yeah. So all mammals have an endocannabinoid system. Vertebrates and invertebrates, actually, even mussels have an endocannabinoid system, which a lot of people don't know. So majority of people use it for dogs and cats. And it's formulated a little differently from our human tincture. So our human oils they utilize MCT oil as the carrier oil. So it's just 2 ingredients, MCT oil and CBD extract. MCT oil can be hard on digestion for animals. So the carrier oil that we use in the pet tincture is cold pressed hemp seed oil, and it actually aids in digestion for dogs and cats. We've even had somebody with a pet donkey who used it, but that's another story. But
the hemp seed oil is basically oil pressed from the hemp seeds.
Yes. So that's actually, I'm glad that you just asked that, because a lot of times people will buy cold pressed hemp seed oil online and they'll think they're getting CBD, and it's actually just something that you use for cooking. It doesn't have CBD in it. It's not CBD isn't extracted.
It's equivalent to if you were to buy almond oil, because it's the oil pressed from almonds or something. Same thing with, yeah.
Exactly. And so we utilize that in our pet tincture. We have two different strengths for smaller and for larger, or like depending on what, you're utilizing it for, how serious the condition is. But oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite things to receive testimonials around is just, I mean, it's so hard to watch your dog or cat grow older. They're a true member of your family, and to watch them kind of like lose mobility or like notice differences in their cognition and their memory and um, the heartwarming stories that we hear about dogs like playing like puppies again, these senior animals after they've been using CBD. And so, like for animals, it can be used for their mobility, same as humans, mobility, but also can be used for those animals who, like, let's say it's the 4th of July and there's fireworks, and your dog just freaks out when there's fireworks, or they freak out when they have to go to the vet, or it just provides them with that extra layer of calm because we all know how stress just wreaks havoc on animal and on humans' bodies.
You're going on a road trip or you have to take your dog in the car and you know what I mean? Like you need them to kind of be a little bit like just more calm and not like super hype. I think that would be a really good situation if you were to have to, bring them in the car, or like maybe before, if like you go and take them to get groomed and they just like hate the groomer, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It just provides them that little extra layer of like chill and comfort, which I think everybody deserves, especially animals. They don't know where you're taking them or what you're doing. And it really helps them just stay calm and chill, which is just does wonders for their health long term. I mean, being in stressful situations over and over again and having so much stress is not good for anybody. So
yeah. Yeah, that's a great thing to know that you do offer that for your pets as well. Now, also, I know that there's topical CBD. Can you touch on that for a second? Because I feel like maybe some people, obviously, you're not going to use the topical for anxiety, but I think that most people would use it for pain, right? Like it wouldn't be for digestion, obviously.
No, it would not be for like anxiety or digestion or anything like that. But so our topicals provide more localized relief. So really we see people use it a lot for like workout recovery. Um, if you have to be on your feet all day, it's wonderful to just use in a massage on your feet at night. Make your partner do it. Like it's maybe you slept wrong on your neck. And like our topicals are also packed with like skin nourishing ingredients. So it's wonderful for localized relief with the CBD extract that's in our topicals. They also have wonderful things in them like shea butter and jojoba oil and lavender. And so they nourish distressed skin as well. So if you're dealing with any skin issues, like I would definitely recommend to try a topical. But in regards to like physical discomfort, I always do recommend to use a topical. And then there's really no harm in also using CBD internally at the same time just to maximize the benefits, because we all know that inflammation happens inside of our bodies for the most part. So, when you are utilizing like a CBD oil and then also the localized relief of a topical, I see people have a lot of success with that.
Yeah, I've even had some pretty bad breakouts before on my face, and I put straight up CBD oil on them, and it just really helps the inflammation.
Yeah, it's all just about like bringing that inflammation down. And CBD is an anti-inflammatory, and it's also there have been studies that have shown that it's has a lot of antioxidants inside of it as well, which a lot of people, that's also not really talked about a ton. So that's something interesting.
Yeah, that is quite. I've done a lot of research and studies. I haven't done studies, sorry. I've done research on studies. And it's even shown to be oh my gosh, like I'm having like this brain fart. But I was going to say, an antibiotic.
Mm-hmm. I haven't, I'd have to see the study. I would love if you would send me the study after this, because I'm just always hungry for more studies so that we can really start to substantiate these claims. And there's one that I'll send you after this that just came out around CBG and its ability to help with anxiety. I mean, gosh, anxiety is such a widespread problem that people deal with. And we've had so many people that have been able to like come off of other types of medications that they've been using for anxiety by utilizing like a CBD or a CBD CBG tincture. And that just speaks worlds to me.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, send it over and I'll have to send you that study. Actually, there's several studies because there's a lot of talk about CBD being used as an antibiotic now, as a natural antibiotic, obviously. And we all know how antibiotics just wreck our gut and just really just throw our whole bodies off.
Atom bomb going off in your gut. I personally avoid them unless it's just absolutely necessary and I have to. But they're so normalized and they're just thrown at you for every little thing. Like I was sick a few months ago and really just with like a sinus, like cold flu. I'm not really sure what it was, but very sick. And I was just like, well, I'm going to ride this out for a few days because I know if I go to a doctor, I'm just going to be prescribed an antibiotic. And I know that my body can fight this off and I'll do all of the things to support myself and just get through this without wreaking havoc on my gut, which I mean, I think that if you use an antibiotic like one time, doesn't your gut feel the effects for like a year?
It stays in you. They say it stays in you for like 7 years or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, actually, right. Because they can do testing where they can look back.
Yeah. And on top of that, after you take a round of antibiotics, typically for women, then you get a UTI. And there's like a snowball effect of the other symptom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a good point around like antibiotics being so normalized. And then like another thing that's really normalized is just taking NSAIDs for like any type of like headache or period pain or like, just carrying around Advil in your purse. It's very normal. Ibuprofen, Advil. It's like I would dream of a day where somebody carries around CBD instead of those things that are also gut disruptors.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. Like my mom, bless her heart, she grew up like, I'm sure like in the same area of all of our moms and doing whatever the doctor said. And like, just thinking that this is the right way to do it. And so anyway, so she had surgery on her knee. She had like a knee replacement, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember this. And for one entire year, she took 2 Advil a day. Every single day, she took 2 Advil in a year. And I was like, Mom, I was like, please, like, just stop here, try like some CBD and like trying to like get her to like get off of the Advil.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she only knows what she knows. And it was really hard for her to not do that. And even hard for her to try CBD because again, there's that stigma of, oh, it's marijuana. It's going to make me high.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even the same plant, guys. Not even the same plant.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's my own. And I think we all can relate to this when we're trying to like help a family member. Like our family is like the hardest to reach to.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I can tell like just your face right now. You know what I mean? Like I could go in my parents' fridge and like raid their fridge and be like, what is this doing in here? But it's true. And I think it's just our parents in particular is that they grew up in just a different generation. It's just like trying to really make that switch. And it sometimes has to be not me. Like, cause I will, this is like, now I'm going off on a tangent, but like my mom, she's on Instagram and she sends me like all these reels and like, she's like, did you see what I sent you? And I was like, Mom, I've been preaching this for 3 years and now you're receiving it from someone else. You know what I mean? Like she's like, oh yeah, but this person said that this is good for you. And I was like, Mom, I've told you this for like years, but you're listening to this like random person.
Yes, and that can be like a double-edged sword because I think that then also it's like, oh, anything that we see on the internet is truth. And so that's interesting. But I mean, I think that you are just spot on with, you know, people just don't know what they don't know. So how can you expect someone to know something that they don't know? And it's just a whole retraining of things that have been so normalized for them for years, like utilizing Advil for every little ache and pain. I mean, it's crazy what we know about it now, but also how many people still do that. And I definitely did that like in college and before I knew any better. But I educated myself and I learned. So that's why I'm hoping that these kinds of conversations can be a help to people to just start to reframe a little bit, just be open to hearing, you know, some different ways of being and test it out for yourself.
For sure. And, you know, maybe you're, you know, the person listening here and you are trying to get maybe your parents or a family member and they're just not listening to you. Go ahead and send this podcast to them and have them listen to it and have, you know, someone else speak on your behalf because maybe you've tried all avenues and they're just not listening to you. So maybe just like pass the torch and have them listen to this podcast or something else because I've had to do it myself. I've had to send my mom podcasts from other people. I'm like, she's not going to listen to mine. Like, obviously I've been, you know, talking to her at the dinner table. But anyways, that's just a side note. So Emily, where can people find your products and where can people find CB Distillery on social and all that?
Yes. So the main place you can find our products is on our website. So cbdistillery.com. And you can find us on social, on Instagram, at CB Distillery. A lot of people kind of misspell our name sometimes and say CBD Distillery. It's just CB Distillery. We also do sell our products in some like, you know, chiropractic offices and different brick and mortars, but really your best bet is to just order from our website and we ship right to your doorstep.
Yeah. And ordering direct too, I think it always ensures the freshest product possible. Do we have a code for my listeners? Do we have any kind of special discount we can give them?
Yeah, they can use Digest 25. So they can get 25% off using your code, Bethany. We also, guys, have a subscription program that's super awesome. That you don't pay shipping and you can, you know, set it and forget it. You can change your cadence at any time. You can swap products. You can cancel. So that's another thing to consider because I don't know if we touched on it, but it's just so important to be consistent with your CBD use. So just consistency is key. Maintaining that homeostasis, bringing you back into balance. It's not something that you can just take, you know, once every 2 weeks and hope to reap the benefits. It's really an investment in your long-term health to just be consistent with it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too. And especially with anything natural and holistic, it does take longer than just popping a pill or popping an Advil, which everyone's so used to these days. So, you know, have patience with anything natural because it may take time.
I mean, it's truly, as I said, an investment in, you know, not only your life, like your longevity, your lifespan, but your health span, allowing you to live healthy. Like no one wants to live a long time, but be super sick the whole time, you know? Like we want you to feel your best naturally for as long as possible and to have the best quality of life and just to live healthily for a long time.
Yeah, you not only want to add years to your life, but you want to add life to your years.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone, again, that was Digest 25. You can get a huge discount. I'm assuming it's 25% off, right?
25% off site-wide. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So go there. I'll put the link in today's show notes so everyone can go check it out so it can be easily accessed. Thank you again so much, Emily, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Resonant Media production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.